Hey everybody, how's it going? It is like, well, it's only 10 o'clock. It's only like 10:15 here. I just got off of a call and I'm like, "Rah!" And I want to like run around the block and do some jumping jacks and dance a jig and do some somersaults. So, I thought it'd be a good time to go on Facebook Live. Um, Hello, everybody that's jumping on. Hello, hello. Nighttime in the US, early morning in Europe. My European friends are probably waking up. Still a little early, I think, but so oh my goodness, there's just so many things. So I have, hey, Emily, do them in your yoga sling. I know, right? Totally. Jumping jacks in my yoga sling. Yep. That would be a funny thing. Yeah. You're giving me an idea there, Rich. So today I had the total like joy, pleasure, delight of actually yesterday and today doing 5 calls with my Generative Business Pods program that just started last week. And we have these things in there called pod calls. And the pod calls are these small group calls where like 4 or 5 people come and they ask their questions. And they're like, it's like anything goes, like, and everybody gets like some time to be facilitated. And it's like, I need some ideas, or I want to brainstorm, or we talk about creation, or, like I'm having this thing show up or whatever. And it's been, so I've spent the past 2 days in these calls and it was so amazing, Brandy. Oh my God, they were all so amazing. And the cool thing is that the people that are in the pods get to listen to all of them. So they can be on one, but they listen to all of them. If they want to, they can. And they're all so different, and they're like these magical creations that just get created by like the people and the energies, and it's really cool. Wendy, I know, it was fun having you. So tonight, I did one tonight because there's people all over the world, so we do different time zones and stuff, and I just hung up from one, and it was just this like amazing conversation, and I wanted to share some of the pieces of some of this stuff with you guys. One of the ladies tonight said, this is like a quote. We need to like put this somewhere. She said, this was like a breath of fresh air. And she said, I feel like I've been holding my breath since 7th grade. Because that's the thing and what I wrote up there above is like being as different and weird and wonderful and wild and wacky and all over the place as you are with creation. I didn't write exactly that, but hello, Mitzi. Hey, Cody. Hi, everybody. Because the thing is like, for so many of us with business, we think we suck at it. We think we don't know how to do it. We're not good at form and structure, and in this reality, business is like, this is how you do it. It's linear, it's form and structure, it's defined, it's laid out for you. You follow the rules and you'll be fine, except that is never how it actually works. And especially for people that are different, and you might call yourself a humanoid or an X-Men, where it's like your brain works differently. You are a different being, you function differently. And the human reality, like the laws of this reality, don't apply in any way. They don't apply to your body. They don't apply to your relationships. They don't apply to how you move in the world. They don't apply to how you are with the earth. They don't apply to how you are with money. They don't apply to how you are with business. They don't apply to parenting. They don't apply to any of it, But we're like we're like a totally different species trying to function like the rest of the world. And none of it makes sense, and we get bored with it because it doesn't make sense. And it's sort of like, well, why would I choose that? Because it doesn't make any sense. But okay, well, I guess I have to, because I have to live in the world and I have to make it work. And so I'm just going to do it, And so one of the things that I love about these conversations, and I would say all business conversations in Access Consciousness, like there's Joy of Business classes, there's a, advanced business mentor class that's starting on Friday with Gary, Douglas, Dane here, Simone Milasas, and Brendan Watt. That's going to be fucking amazing. And the business pods that I do, like there's so many different ways that you can get your hands on these conversations. One of the things that I love to bring to business conversations is also this sense of like an X-Men kind of point of view, like the difference that you be, and starting to, so we were playing tonight with like this whole thing of like perfectionism and like, how do I go beyond perfectionism? Well, you recognize how aware you are and how much information is coming into your world at one time, and how a lot of times when there's that much information coming into your world, you try to like organize it in a certain way and you try to do something with it and you try to manage it, and it doesn't, what that ends up doing is taking this huge like universe of awareness that you actually are with all of these energies and all of these capacities, and like shrinking it and compressing it down to try to fit into this reality. But we've already established that that doesn't work, right? And if it was going to work, it would have by now, And so many people get frustrated with business, or they think they're not good at it, or they think they can't do it, or they're just like, I may as well just not have money because I can't even deal with trying to make this work. But really, it's like when you start to like shift your perspective and realize, wait a minute, I'm different. The way that I function is fast. It's all over the place. Like we were talking tonight about extrapolation, and extrapolation is definitely, it's sort of like, it's where you add your energy and your awareness and like the brilliance of your awareness to something. And you'll look at one thing in your business, and when you look at it, you exponentialize it, and it goes whoosh, and then it becomes all these other different energies and possibilities. And then you look at those and whoosh, and whoosh, and it's like you can explode universes of like in your business and with creation by acknowledging that that's what's actually, that's the capacity that you have. And for so many of us, business is a largely energetic thing. It's an energetic endeavor or undertaking or whatever. It's an energetic universe, really, that the world has not ever invited you to that reality. Like the world, and it's funny actually. This makes me think of there's a call going on in Access right now called I think it's called Shrinking Stupidity, and it's Gary, Douglas, and Dane here are leading the call, and they were talking today about being the smartest person in the room, and how so many of us are actually like, they were like, how many times have you been the smartest person in the room? And it's like, so many of us are actually the smartest people in the room. If you look at like how, like people with autism have been portrayed, well, a lot of times they've been portrayed as dumb, but they have also, if you look at like Rain Man and how he had this like brilliance with numbers, and, it's like, there's this genius there that doesn't fit into this reality. It doesn't fit into the context of business, because it's so different. And it's like, what if you're the smartest person in the room when it comes to your business, and you actually just haven't acknowledged it, and so we have to actually. So one of the things that we talked about tonight is this sense of like really beginning to acknowledge what's true for you with creation, and the energetics of that, and like what you're doing and being, and what's working for you and what's happening for you, so that you actually can begin to like substantiate your reality of business that's not going to match anything that you've ever seen in the world. And this is where like we really diminish our realities with business by like looking, because so many of us, like humanoids, X-Men, like our primary sort of orientation with judgment is to judge ourselves. And so when that's your point of view, then everything that comes into your world, you're going to sort of like reference it against this like eternal judgment of you, that we're just sort of like wired to do, but it's not actually true for us. But that's just when you're so different than the rest of the world and the world doesn't make sense to you, then, and the whole world is telling you that you're wrong because the world doesn't make sense, you're just going to agree, like the world is going to be like, you're wrong because you can't make this work. And you're also going to be like, you're right, I am wrong because I can't make this work. And so what happens is there's all these like universes of creation and business and like capacities with money and capacities in all these different areas that we don't allow ourselves to have and be because it doesn't match what you've seen out there. It doesn't match what the world is telling you. It doesn't match what you think you're supposed to be and do and have. And so what ends up happening is those areas of your brilliance where you might be the smartest person in the room, judging yourself as the dumbest person in the room. When you judge yourself as the dumbest person in the room, you basically you take all of the capacities that you have, all of your superpowers with creation, your superpowers with business, your superpowers for receiving, for ease, for elegance. You take all of those superpowers and you basically bury them underneath the judgments that you have of you while trying to figure out how to make this whole reality work. Well, what if this reality doesn't have to work for you and is never going to work for you? And that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't need to work for you. And if it did work for you, it would be such a diminishment of what you could create. But instead, actually, you can be like, okay, there's this whole thing, and that's all a lie, and none of that's true for me. It doesn't work for me. I've never been able to get that to go in any way. So, okay, never mind. I guess I'm not wrong for not being able to do that. I'm just different. And you bring your attention over here and you're like, okay, cool. So I'm aware of lots of things. I'm fast, I'm slow, I'm brilliant, I'm all over the place, I'm organized, I'm a perfectionist, I'm, whatever is going on for you when it comes to creation and business. And you start to go, okay, one of the great questions that we have in Access Consciousness and in X-Men is, what's right about me I'm not getting? So you start to ask that question. Okay, so what's right about me I'm not getting? What's right about this I'm not getting? Like, what is actually true for me with business and creation that has seemed so wrong for me, but actually is not at all wrong. It's actually the brilliance that I have, the brilliance that I be with all of this, that doesn't have a context in this reality. It doesn't fit into this reality. It doesn't match this reality. It's not something I've seen anywhere in the world. And now what? And you can begin to, as you be curious with those energies, you can begin to uncover by getting out of the judgment. Because as soon as you go to the question of what's right about me I'm not getting, you're not in judgment anymore. So the judgment is gone, because now you're in judgment and question can't exist in the same space. Judgment and gratitude or acknowledgement of you can't exist in the same space. Leilani, hi, you're welcome. So they can't, so it's as soon as you go to actual question, acknowledgement of you, gratitude for you, or the curiosity of, okay, so here's this whole thing I piled over here under the rug thinking that it was not valuable, not useful, not anything. Now I'm going to actually start to get curious about, oh, wait, hold on a second. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. What if my superpowers are under the rug over here? Well, I've been over here trying to get this reality right, but this reality is so boring and so small and such a diminishment of me and such a diminishment of what is possible that I haven't even wanted to make it work because it's so fucking boring. I just want to just go to sleep, So now, what if you start to turn your attention to, okay, there's a treasure trove over here that I have not paid attention to, and this is where, one of the ladies tonight was like, breath of fresh air, and she said, if you didn't hear me earlier, she said, I feel like I have been holding my breath since 7th grade, because that's around the time where you start to really try to fit yourself into human reality. And it's it doesn't work, if you don't fit, you don't fit. And most people don't actually fit, so, but we all try to make ourselves fit or prove that we fit or pretend that we fit, So when you just go, all right, fuck it. That is all gone, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to now get present over here and uncover this, and start to like get to work really and to play really, like exploring the universe of what's actually true for me, what my capacities are, what's available to me, and really like have fun, And the thing is like, as you step into that world more and you start to play, and this has been like a really full-on exploration for me over the past, like, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 years, since I started doing Access Consciousness, is like, you have to have there's some courage required, to be like, okay, this reality, it's not about separating from it, but it's like just going, it doesn't really work. So I'm still willing to use the pieces that do work, but really what's more interesting to me is how I actually function and what actually works for me with business, and what's actually true for me. And like, okay, so here's a funny story. So so I've done this thing, over the years, a few different times where I've taken on interns in my business, and it's been in the past, like kind of more formal and more like, like the last time we did like a big burst of interns, like I think we had like 5 interns, and we set up all these, some courage required, or a lot. Yes, a lot, but it's fun. But we set up all these like, like ways to support the interns, and I had this conversation with Simone Millicis, who is the creator of The Joy of Business and a brilliant mentor of mine and friend and lovely lady and brilliant facilitator. And she said at one point, having interns is a lot of work. And so I was like, yeah, it is, And so, I don't know, a month ago or so, we put out kind of a call for interns in my business. And it wasn't really me that was directing it. And that was, at the time, I wasn't going to be like the person who was running it and all that stuff. So I was like, sure, go for it, And so the person who was kind of in charge, like, did this whole thing and put out all these questions and got these forms. And, some of you guys may have even filled them out. A bunch of people did. And then this, like, things changed and this person left the business. And then I was like, oh shit, I've got all these people, And I basically was like, I don't feel like working that hard, I really don't feel like working that hard. I don't feel like managing a whole intern program right now. Like, I'm just really enjoying, there's so much relaxation in my business and elegance and ease. And I was like, I can't do that, like I can't do this the way that I've done it before, because it's not actually true for me, So I started thinking about it, and I was like, but there were these people that kind of popped. There were these 3 people that kind of popped, and I was like, their energies kept sort of like calling and pulling and tugging. And I was like, okay, so the energy is there to play with, to include these people in the business and give them some sort of a like intern, whatever role. But I don't want to work more. I don't want to work harder. And we had a meeting today. We had like the first sort of like where everybody was there, all 3 of them. My conversation is busting all the bubbles in your world. Yay! I love that. And so it was so funny because I got on the call today and our meeting today, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm lazy. I was like, you guys are here as interns and I am really lazy and I don't actually want to work very hard at like any of this, And I was like, so what I would want to invite you guys to do is to create with the business, and to let us know what you want to learn, and we will make sure that you learn it. This is a 2-way street. We will make sure that you get all the information and the training that you require and desire, but I'm not going to set up a program. You tell us what you want. You tell us what you desire. Please dive in. Don't be shy. Take the reins, run with shit. Here's a little training for you, and go play, go create, And it was so cool because that was so much more my reality than to be like, we now have an intern program and we're going to do trainings and we're going to structure it and it's 10 hours a week. And I was like, you know what? No, fuck it. Like, let's have this be ease, And the more I let myself be lazy, or be like, just be me and recognize, oh God, that's not my reality. Like, doing a whole program and running a whole thing and whatever. Like, some people are so good at that, but that's not my reality. And I also, like, my business doesn't require that right now. I don't require that right now. But yet there were people that were like, I'd like to contribute to you, you know? And I'm like, well, that's cool, you know? And there was a lot more people that actually wanted to contribute than we could really, you know, bring in at the moment. And that was really amazing for me just to see, like, you know, people, like, just to receive that and to have gratitude for that. But just to be like, okay, I want to work with these people and I really want to do it in my way, you know, and my way doesn't look anything like anybody else would do it. And to go to a meeting and go, so I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to be super lazy about this. I'm telling you that right now. Please, like, have fun. We'll meet every week. Tell us what you need. Tell us what you want. Tell us what your ideas are, you know, like, lead, you know. And there's a whole bunch of, like, there's so many joy of business tools woven into that where it's like, you know, take the rein, like giving people the green light to create in your business. I mean, that's we could have a whole conversation about that. But it was so cool just to be like, yeah, I don't need anything to be hard anymore. Like, I don't really do that at this point in my life. And the more I allow myself to be lazy, you know, to have the relaxation, to have the ease. Brandy, and it all felt so late. Yeah, Brandy was there. And generative and creative and, like, inclusive. I mean, for me, I was just like, we're all creating this. And even though you're brand new, like, hey, you know something, or I wouldn't have actually had you come and play, you know? And it's like that, like, there's so many places where we have the sense of, like, what we would actually like to do, or what would actually work for us, or what would actually be ease for us. But we're like, no, but it's wrong because I'm wrong. Or no, but it doesn't match how business is supposed to be done, you know? But be chaotic, be crazy, be all over the place, be disorganized, be what you are. When you be what you are with business, and you be the, like, X-Men that you are, or the humanoid that you are, and you let yourself be all over the place, or you let yourself be a perfectionist or disorganized or whatever, when you be what you are, then guess what, guys? Things grow. Your business actually, and you may not have a business, it may be your life is your business, but it's like, if you have a business, like, it's like you're creating with your business, like, the business is creating with you because of you. I say this all the time about my kids. I'm like, my kids chose me for me, knowing that I'm not one who cooks dinner, you know. I'm lazy in a lot of ways, you know. They chose me knowing that I wasn't going to cook dinner. They chose me knowing I wasn't going to help them with their homework. They chose me knowing that I'm a lazy mom in those ways, you know. I'm a shitty mom. I'm doing a telecall called How to Be a Shitty Mom in a few weeks, which I think is fucking hilarious. But that's the thing, is what if you could be a shitty mom, a shitty dad, a shitty business person, shitty with money, like shitty in all these ways that are, like, good in this reality, but don't work for you, you know? And that is, when you begin to step into those spaces, like, you begin to have this level of freedom that you've never had before. And I am seeing now, like, and it's been so cool during this COVID time, like, my business is just exploding, and I'm working less and less. And the less I work and the less I do and the less I whatever, like, the more the business just grows, because it's being given this space, and I'm giving myself the space, and the team, like, we all have this space of joy and creation and relaxation that just grows all the time. And that's true for parenting and, you know, all these other areas of life. It's like, relax into you and your life will flourish. Your business will flourish. Your kids will flourish. Contrary to popular belief, you know, we always say everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. And one of the things about the business pods, which is some of these conversations I'm referencing in this Facebook Live, is we just started a new round, and we just started it last week, actually. And the one that we did before, it's a generative business pods. It's a 6-month business program that I do that's like for creation for people, and people just explode with creation. And the last round we did was, like, all the way through, like, the height of COVID, you know, like, started in started in February, I think, or end of February, and 6 months. And everybody who really engaged with the program, basically everybody in the program, fucking flourished. Like their businesses grew, their money flows grew, they got happier, they got lighter, they got, they just like started having more fun, and everything just expanded and exploded and flourished and grew because they were in these conversations. We were in these conversations every week, and they were stepping into these spaces with themselves all the time, because it's not about what do I know to tell you to do about your business. It's like, what do you know? And we get curious together about that. And then you get to like be on the adventure of discovering what you know about business. And you might think you know nothing. And I actually didn't think I knew anything about business. I thought I was terrible at business until I started actually like really starting to look at what I know. So yeah, these are just some really amazing tools and conversations. There's just millions of things else that I could say. But I also did want to say we have the Business Pods is actually closing for registration. A lot of people looked at it and have been looking at it and are looking at it. It's a big choice and a big leap and a big boom for creation. And we have a few more spots. It does fill, and it is going to fill. And I'm leaving the registration open for another probably 5 or so days, and then it's going to close until, we'll do another one in like February, I think. So there will be another, but if now is the time and you want to dive into these conversations and have these kinds of conversations in your world on a weekly basis, sometimes even a daily basis, and really just like whoosh, rocket ship, take off with what you're creating and being you, and like really having what is actually true for you with all of this, you are super duper invited. We would love to have you come and play. We'll close it when it fills, or on the 1st of September, whichever comes first. And you can go to generativebusinesspods.com or my website, heathernichols.com. There's a bunch of other stuff there. I'm doing a foundation class next week, the Shitty Mom Call. So there's all kinds of stuff there, fun stuff as well. And also the business class this weekend, Advanced Business Mentor with Gary, Dane, Simone, and Brendan. That starts on Friday. So some really cool business stuff coming up. Just really like, for me, it's like one of the greatest gifts that I have given to my business. Somebody asked actually a question on Facebook. I don't know, it was a few weeks ago. And they were like, what did you, or what would you do with your first million? And I've actually created more than $1 million with my Access business over the years. And that was a really fun thing to find out, because I didn't think at all that I had, like, I didn't think that I would, I didn't think that was like, I was just in so much judgment of myself. I didn't realize that I had created that. And so when I found that out, I was like, oh, that's cool. And that was probably a few years ago that I reached that mark or whatever. But I said, the thing that I did with my first million that I created in my business, is I actually reinvested a lot of it into my business and into these conversations. And I still do, because this is actually, to me, it's like, this is my point of view, is that this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest commodity, like, or commerce or whatever on the planet. Like, when you really get that creation comes from you, and it doesn't matter what's happening in the world. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. It doesn't matter about COVID. It doesn't matter about the economy. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. You start to create from your own awareness, and you start to know that you have the capacity to create anything under any circumstances, from asking questions, knowing what you know, tapping into your capacities. I mean, there's so many amazing ways that this shows up. It's like, and the tools of Access Consciousness and Joy of Business really give us that. When you get that, you now have a world of creation that is available to you for the rest of your life, no matter what happens on the planet. The economies could tank, the dollar could plummet, the euro could plummet, the whatever. Like, money could go away. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. Like the world is changing so fast every day. We have no idea where it's going to go, you know. None of us predicted that we would be here now, you know. But when you have the tools that allow you to create from awareness and you really trust yourself, then you have a wealth that nobody can ever take away from you. And you have a level of wealth that is the wealth of your being that allows you to create business under any circumstances, to create money under any circumstances, to create anything under any circumstances, because you have the tools to do that. And they are very beyond this reality. So for me, it's always been something that I've chosen to, like, it's been a priority for me to get my hands on these tools, because I know that it's this investment into like this massive future for my being, even beyond this lifetime. That is this creative universe that will never go away. Doesn't matter what happens on the planet. And to me, that's also, when I created the business pods, I created it because I wanted to give people the gift of that. Like, I wanted people to find out, it's not about me giving the gift, but actually for people to find out that they are the gift of that they actually can have access to that awareness and that knowing and that information and those capacities just by being them, you know. And nobody talks about that. Well, now more people do, because we have a whole Being You movement, which is amazing. But, you know, it's not something you're going to learn in MBA school, you know. But the tools that you get from these conversations, nobody can ever take them away. And they will always work under any circumstances, because they're not reliant upon any particular reality being in existence. They're actually reliant upon you knowing and you having the awareness that you have and be that will never go away. Even in another lifetime, you will still have it. And that is so freaking cool to me. It's like, whoa, talk about an amazing investment, you know, in you and your knowing and what it is that you're aware of and your capacities and the uniqueness of you that nobody can show you. You know, it doesn't exist anywhere else other than you. You are the only place that you exist. And when you get the wealth of that, then wow, this world is yours, no matter what, pandemic or not, you know, economy failing or not, it doesn't matter. So anyway, that's my little Facebook Live for the night. Thanks for being here with me, or good morning if you're, you know, somewhere else in the world. I'm so excited. I've been having so much fun the past couple of days. I'm like, I guess I have to go to bed. No, I don't. I will at some point go to bed, but you know, I might just run around my house a couple times before I do that. So thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for being you. Check out the Generative Business Pods, generativebusinesspods.com, heathernichols.com, accessconsciousness.com. There's so many amazing conversations going on every day. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful for all of you. And Facebook, I'm really grateful for Facebook, that we get to connect in this way, or YouTube, if you're watching this later on YouTube. It's gosh, you know, what a gift in making the world as small as it actually is, you know, and allowing us to connect in ways that are just so cool, you know, even when we can't see each other in person, we get to be here connecting. And boy, in person is really fun. But, you know, I'll take this when an in-person can't actually occur. So thanks, everybody. Have fun. Be you. Be crazy. Be weird. Be different. Be lazy. Whatever you are, be it, and enjoy. Bye.